Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 6-6, using a full circle protractor. We started to touch base on this on 6-5, but at the end of the lesson you should be able to say I can draw and measure angles with a full circle protractor. I can use ray and line segment vocabulary. I can describe a circle as having 360 degrees. You might as well put a little check next to that because we nailed that yesterday. And I can rotate objects a given number of degrees. So, let's first talk about the full circle protractor. I'm going to show it to you here. It is it starts with 360 degrees or a 0. It actually starts with 0, sorry. And it goes in this direction, in a clockwise direction. It ends up at 360 degrees. When we are using it, when you're measuring angles, you always put the vertex of the angle on the center dot here. And then you take the rays of the angle that you create or you find, and you would line them up. It's always good to line it up on the 0, and then the other part of the ray or the other part of the angle will come off to a different direction. And you'll want to look at a little design, a little circle in here, because this is telling you that the arrow or the angle is actually opening up from right here and going this direction. So this is why the other part's here, because originally it would have been just like this, with both of them right by each other, but it's opening up that direction. That's how you're getting it to come over here. Okay, so now that you know you have your vertex lined or centered on the center point of the full circle protractor, and you have the line segment or the array that where the angle started from. As you can tell from this line, it tells you it started from right here, and the arrow pointing that direction tells you that it's opening up that direction. So as long as you have this one lined up on the 0, all you do is look and see where the other line segment or array goes through. And it looks like it's about 120, because this is 120 right there, and it's pretty darn close to it. So this would be a 120 degree angle. Let me do one more for you. I'm going to erase all this. And we'll do one more. And we'll put the I should do a different color. I'll put the vertex again of the angle on the center of the half circle protractor. And then I'm going to draw my angle in here. And because we know this starts at the 0, this angle is opening up in this direction. So this is the angle we're measuring right here. Okay, we're not measuring this one right here, or this one right here, or however you would do it. We are not measuring, because that's why that's why we put this line in here with an arrow, because that's telling you the direction you need to measure from. That means you put the opening part, where it starts, the line segment or the ray where it starts, on the 0, and where it opens all the way to the other side, you have the other line segment or ray going through 210. Therefore, it would be a 210 degree angle. When looking at our I can statements, we just drew and measured an angle with a full circle protractor. And then the next one says I can use ray and line segment vocabulary. Basically, we do that when we make an angle. Okay, these are rays when they have arrows at the ends of them. Okay, because they're going on and on. They're starting at one point and going on and on because the arrow's on the end of them. This right here would be an angle, and if I don't have arrows pointing on the end of them, they're just line segments. Both these would just be line segments. We learned all this at the beginning of the school year, probably the first unit, so it's good to just kind of refresh that. When there's arrows on the end, they're rays. And when they just stop and they're a certain length, because they're not going to go any further, they're considered a line segment. So we can erase this and put a little check next to that and that. And last thing is I can rotate objects a given number of degrees. Well, let's get our full circle protractor here, and let's draw a nice angle right here. Okay, I have a 90-degree angle. I'll hold up on that. We're going to erase this for now. I'm actually going to use a hand, like a hand that would be on a clock. Okay, this would be the big hand. And we'll say the little one's on what would be the 2. So you're looking at pretty much 2 o'clock. If I said to move the small hand 30 degrees clockwise, you would move this part of the hand, you would move it down 30 degrees. So that part of the hand would actually go over towards the 9, almost like you're moving it, almost like it went an hour. Okay, so that'd be a 30-degree move. You'd be moving it 30 degrees clockwise, and then it would look like, your hand would now look like this. So it would be on 3 o'clock. If you were at 3 o'clock and I said move the small hand 90 degrees, you would see this is 30, 60, 90. So you would move this hand all the way down to where it was pointing at the 180 or the 6 on a clock, and therefore you just moved your hand 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise means the direction of the clock. If I say move something right now, we'll say we have right now we have right now it's pointing at 6, and I'm going to ask you to move, we'll say 120 degrees counterclockwise. It means we'll start going in the other direction now, up, and we would count in 30s. So this would be 30, 60, 90, 120. So that would get us right back up to here, up to the 6 or the 2, and that would be moving your angle, or your small hand, that would be moving it counterclockwise 120 degrees. So now I want you to get out page 155, and I'm just going to briefly go over these for you. You're going to use a full circle protractor to measure each of these angles, but I just want to let you know that I know they're tipped to the side and everything, but the main thing, like with this full circle protractor, you can turn it. You can turn them anywhere you want. Like in this case, you have, in number 1, it tells you have the center point here. Notice that arrow right in the middle there, that's saying it's opening up that way. So this is the line that you would line up on the 0 degrees, and then you would see where this one connects. Unfortunately, I can't get this full circle protractor here to see through it, but what you would do is you would take this dot, line it up with this dot, and then you would rotate this to sit on top of this line, and then you would see what the reading is over on this side, which my guess would be about 70 degrees, 75 degrees, or 80 degrees, because I know it's real close to a 90-degree angle. On the other ones, same thing. You need to make sure that you line the center of the protractor right on the dot here, okay? And notice where it opens up. by it opening up here with the arrow on the side, this tells you that this is the line that you're going to line up with the 0, and then this is the line that you will get your reading from. As long as this line's on 0, this line will tell you the correct reading. And number 3, same thing, but this is a little bit different because you need to look at the vertex. You're going to sit the full circle protractor right in the vertex, and now look at this. This is a pretty big angle. Okay, but remember it's opening from here, so you're really going to turn your protractor almost upside down, because here is the center. Okay, that's where the center goes. And notice on here the line is this is the first line, the line segment, the ray that you want to put the 0 on. So notice how I have mine set up. It'd be very similar to that, because your first line would be right here, and then the other one goes through, I think, right around there. It looks pretty similar, so it'd be about 150 degrees. So don't quote me on that. Just make sure you look at it on yourself, your own there. And the last one, I want you to try it. Don't know if you're going to be able to do it. We'll talk about it in a small group. But I want you to notice, here is the vertex. This is what you'll sit on the full circle protractor right in the center. And then your circle goes all the way around here with the arrow pointing there. So it's telling you this line right here is the line you point to the 0. And then you're going to go all the way around and see what number is on this side. I could tell you that if you go only a little further, you're going to get 360 degrees, but you're not quite there. So if you have a number that's less than 180 or 90, somewhere around there, you did it wrong. So work on this on your own, and we'll talk about it in a small group.